The Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, well known in Western society, usually through the media and only by name. Though they are well known, they are not well understood by their original interpretations. This is largely due to pop culture oversimplifying their themes. Originating from the New Testament in the verse 618, the chapter tells of a scroll in God's right hand that it was sealed with 7 seals. When the Lamb of God opened the first 4 of the 7 seals, he released 4 creatures, mounted on their steeds, white, black, red, and pale. Usually understood in pop culture as pestilence, war, famine, and death. They are also to be understood related to the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. The White Horse. Referred to as conquest, carrying a bow and wearing a victory crown, this rider is the most widely interpreted of all the horsemen. The first reference to righteousness was by the Christian theologian Irenaeus in the 2nd century AD. He was the first to interpret this horseman as Christ himself. His white horse representing the successful spread of the gospel through the Roman Empire in Europe. Another interpretation is of pestilence. First used in 1906 when it was used in a Jewish encyclopedia, this interpretation is the most popular and it's widely used in Western pop culture. The main representation of the white horse is its empire prosperity. This theme is to represent the early history of the Roman Empire. The white horse itself is to represent triumph, prosperity, and health of the political state. Mainly based on 80 years of good rule in Rome, the Nerva Antonine dynasty was a period of prosperity, union, civil liberty, and good governance throughout the empire. The rider's crown representing absolute authority and power under the emperors of this dynasty. It is also believed that the white horse and bow is used to represent the military superiority and triumph over other states. The red horse. Often taken to represent war, this rider is usually pictured with a sword as if ready for battle or slaughter. With the horse a fiery red colour, along with the possession of the rider's weapon, is to imply blood is to be spilt. The imagery of the horseman presenting his sword upwards, or sometimes crossed with another blade, is a well-known symbol of a declaration of war or about to enter battle. This doesn't just refer to being against an external enemy, it sometimes refers to being in civil strife. As empire division, with the second seal open, the Roman Empire that once experienced joy, prosperity, and triumph is made subject to the red horse that heralds nothing but disaster and bloodshed. This horse symbolizes the most turbulent period of the empire, lasting 92 years of nothing but civil strife involving 32 emperors and 27 pretender emperors. This period of civil strife led to the military warlords taking power and death and destruction following in their wake. The Black Horseman. Riding a black steed, this is usually considered to be famine, carrying a pair of balance or weighing scales, indicating the way that bread was to be weighed during a famine. Inversely, these scales could be interpreted as scales of justice. In periods of famine, bread prices would skyrocket, sometimes being 10 times the normal value, with an entire day's labour going directly to the purchase of just enough bread to feed one person. As imperial oppression, the Roman Empire suffered as a result of excessive taxation on its citizens. Emperor Caracalla, with beliefs on administration very different to the Antonine emperors, he found himself under the necessity of overspending on the army to maintain their loyalty. This was largely done by increasing standard taxation and creating new taxes on the provinces. These taxes would usually include large sums of food products which would be levied for the army and provincial capitals. This would directly affect food prices, availability, and increase famine in the area. The Pale Horse. The fourth horseman named Death, often depicted as the Grim Reaper, carrying a scythe and dressed in a dark robe. The sickly colour of the horse is to be taken as the colour of death and decay. Destruction of an empire, being the personification of death, with Hades following closely behind, jaws wide, ready to receive victims slain by death. Death's commission was to kill all in the Roman world. Based on the decline and fall of the Roman Empire, this period lasting from 313 until the final sacking of Rome in 410 BC, with rebel provinces breaking away from the empire proper, murderous hordes coming from the north and east, the Sassanids advancing and plague killing millions. The only respite from this disaster is the reign of Aurelian, but with his assassination the empire continued to crumble. With the final sacking of Rome, the horsemen had done their work, and the once greatest empire on earth was never to be recovered.